Bass junkie on the mic, worldwide flight. Builders in the base, making futures bright. Many have dreams, stacking beams, take the lead. Bass apps unite, planting every seed. From Tokyo towers to Parisian streets. Builders coding visions, no defeat. Many app magicians, pulling from the ether. Scripts tighter than a bank vault keeper. Silicon spark where the minds all merge. Fireside stories fuel truth in the search. Blueprints blazing, innovations choir. Ideas catching fire, lifting empires higher. Base builders around the world, hands raised. Every mini app's a candlelight in new ways. Code and create, let the passion unfurl. Fireside media shines on the builder world. Base the world. Fireside media shines on the builder world. Fingers on the keys, symphonies of syntax. Builders dropping beats, every line impacts. From the desert top Dubai to NYC, on base and beyond, boundless energy. Spotlights on the crews, every block they tether. Fireside media tells how they build together. Baseline thumping, hearts start jumping. Change in the air, you can feel it pumping.
Dream it, build it, watch it ignite. Bass apps blooming, stars in the night.
Base builders around the world, hands raised. Every mini app's a candlelight in new ways. Code and create, let the passion unfurl. Fireside media lifts the builder world. Base world. Fireside media lifts the builder world. Base world. Fireside media lifts the builder world.
Yo, and welcome to this brand new week. It's a new week, but the mission is the same. Welcome back to Fireside Media, the daily talk show where we connect with the latest and greatest builders here on Base and beyond. Monday to Thursday, 12:30 p.m. PST, 8:30 p.m. GMT +1. Guys, it is a bear market. It is a meme season over on Robinhood. But guys, in these turbulent times, one thing is for true, that the builders keep on building. Red days, green days, and that is what this show is all about. To highlight the builders who turn up, who are in it for more than a minute, and in it to build infrastructure to support the next wave of crypto adoption. And then, of course, on every Friday, we have our end of the week roundup over on Firecaster, where we do the end of the week spaces where different speakers from the week and some other OGs in the community can come and just chop it up about the latest things that have been happening here on Base. Now, today's guest is an OG developer. He is developer of his own project and also just got I say recently, maybe a few months ago, joined the banker team now, and yeah, as a DevRel supporter. So definitely looking forward to hearing his story as he talks about joining to banker and then also growing Try Harness. Guys, make sure you smash the retweets as we welcome up our special guest of today, Mr. Sartorius.
Hello. Yo. Thank you for having me on, man. Much appreciated.
Well, dude, thank you for coming. Honestly, I think I first reached out to you when you just got the banker job. Yeah. But like time flies. I mean, so tell me, how long have you been with banker now? How long has it been?
So I think the day the post went out was June 10th. So about a month, a little more than a month. But I was getting ramped up to sort of the entire role 2 weeks prior to that. So I would say it's been like a solid month and a half since I like officially joined.
Okay. Well, actually, that is making me feel better because I was like, oh man, I feel like it's been months. Like, was it last year? Like, how many months has it been? I know that it's just been a month. It's like, okay, we can live with that. Yeah. But All right. Well, look, talk to us. Who is Saltorius? Because obviously people know you in the chat. People know you like on the timeline. But tell us, who is Saltorius? Walk us through your journey into crypto and your journey leading up to this moment.
Yeah, man. I'm Saltorius. I've been in crypto since 2017, so almost a decade now. It kind of feels crazy to say that. And I transitioned into crypto actually from investment banking. So I did early on in my career. I was finance focused, mainly still like a little bit technical. I was doing like some automation stuff for big banks. So I worked at Merrill Lynch for a little while, and then I worked for Goldman Sachs for a while. And while I was there, it was a lot of like business intelligence analyst stuff, like creating SQL tables to pull or queries to pull data from these massive tables that have existed for years and years and years. Making like Alteryx dashboards, making Python scripts to automate tasks. And then around a little bit before COVID time, I kind of just looked in the mirror and I was like, I hate this job. I hate doing this. It sucks. And like I really wanted to do more software stuff, and that was at the time I'd already I'd been a trader. I think everybody's introduction to crypto is what's this unique new asset class where I can try to make some money, and I quickly learned I'm a terrible trader. I buy high and I buy high and I sell low all the time. So but I had some engineering experience, so I was like, okay, let me try my hand at building stuff. So right before COVID time, I quit Goldman and I started self learning, teaching myself how to code, at least web development. Again, I had some engineering experience, but really started self learning the web development space. And at the time, I was really into sort of Web3 gaming. So I played this game called Gods Unchained, which is a trading card game on the Immutable network. And it's basically like Hearthstone or Magic, but all the cards are NFTs, and you earn these cards through playing, and then you actually have them as NFTs that you can resell at a secondary market. And that was like a really powerful experience for me because like I'd grown up playing Magic, I'd grown up and collecting the cards and being able to trade them is like half the fun of the game. And then when I started playing Hearthstone, I poured a lot of money into it and didn't see anything out of it. So Gods Unchained was like the connecting piece where I was like, oh, I'm dumping time and money into this game, but I can actually recoup some of the investment as far as time goes by selling my collection or by trading the cards that I've earned. And I was really into the game. And the first project that I decided to make as far to like kind of one, get more experience in web development and Solidity development, but also to kind of just build something I'm interested in is a peer-to-peer betting system on Gods Unchained. So one of the first smart contracts I wrote, it was like a simple escrow contract that had a custom oracle that I built that was basically connected to the Gods Unchained API. Two people would connect, put up, let's say, $10 each. They would play. The oracle would get who won from the API, feed it into the contract, and then the funds would be released to the winner. So it was a very like simple, very easy sort of implementation. But it was fun. When I released it on Discord, in the Gods Unchained Discord way back when, people were like, "Oh, what is this?" And then a bunch of people started using it, and then to my surprise, like people were like putting up $100, $200, $300 wagers on there. I was like, "Oh God, okay, actually,
wow.
I actually have to support this thing now. Like this is crazy." And then from there, a couple of people from the Gods Unchained community asked me if we could support tournaments because that was a big thing, like competitive tournaments. So using the same framework that I built for peer-to-peer staking, I kind of modified the contract a little bit to work with tournaments. So when people entered, they would put up their entry amount right away. It would get locked in the contract, and then as the rounds would go on, the oracle would feed information to the contract and move people along, and the winners would be able to claim directly from the contract. And that was kind of important at the time because the way that people were running these tournaments, there's like no moderation. Another part of it is like the API has data around like the cards that you use. So if you can enforce like rule sets, you can enforce a bunch of different things that previously were being done manually. And the other part is when people would win, it would take them like a month to get their money because it would be manually sent out by people from the team. So it was a big unlock as far as competitive like play within Gods Unchained. And from there, I kind of like I was like, all right, this is it. I'm working. This is what I'm doing now. I love being able to just have an idea and build stuff and put it out there. And if it's a good enough idea, people will use it and iterating on it. And so for about 2 years, that's what I got a job in like a local web development shop just to build up my like resume as far as like having web development experience and builder experience. But on the side, I was all in. I was the platform was called G Stakes, and I was kind of actively maintaining that for about 2 years. And it got to the point where we got a huge grant from Immutable and from Gods Unchained to run a series of tournaments over the summer. Gave out like 150K, 200K worth of prizes. It was very much in the height of like the Web3 gaming meta. So that was really fun. And then I got to speak at NFT NYC a few times from that experience. And then from there, I kind of just started contributing in like different communities where I was kind of interested. So there's a DAO called One Hive. I did some work for them, and then I joined a startup called Internet Game, which I think this was around 2022, 2023. They did like these online mini games or challenges where people would compete for like a week. They would get put on a leaderboard, and then people at the top of the leaderboard would get blue chip NFTs. This is the days of Bored Apes. I think someone got a Bored Ape. Someone might have got like a Pudgy Penguin. And that was really fun. Unfortunately, Internet Game, I'm not sure if they're still operational, but I left and I joined a dev shop called Laser, which I was at for, which most people might know me for my work at Laser. So at Laser is a dev shop where we kind of are like mercenary devs that get sent out to some of the biggest teams in crypto. So I worked closely with like the Coinbase team. I've worked closely with the OpenSea team. I've worked closely with the Denari team and many others in the crypto space, basically slotting in where they need me. So for Coinbase, for example, all of their in-person events over the last 2 years, I built the NFT ticketing system that was used to like track all the admissions. And if you
dude, were you at Basecamp last year?
Yeah, I was at Basecamp. Yeah. So
dude,
the NFT that you got and the ticket that you scanned and the mini app that you went to like manage your whole program. I was
at the reception place at the
yes sir
reception. I remember I'm like, man, he's a big fella.
yeah. So I was bouncing around Basecamp. If you were at Basecamp, you definitely saw me at the check-in tables, running around, making sure everything was working up to snuff. But that was really like my experience at Laser was really like the actual like my foyer into like Base and like the Base ecosystem and like being like, oh, okay, this is a place where real builders come to build to make real things, and I was kind of enamored by that and wanted to sort of fully immerse myself into the Base ecosystem. So kind of at the time, like simultaneously at the time, I still do spend a lot of time on Farcaster building mini apps. So I kind of built up a little bit of a presence there. Built a few mini apps to varying degrees of success. I built a mini app called Hype Man, which was pretty fun. It was a mini app where you can kind of one of these engagement buying mini apps where things existed where you could buy likes and recasts, but buying quote casts was still kind of hard because you're sort of relying on people to write nice things or being able to control the quality. So my idea was, what if you just had an AI write all of the quote casts for you? So we had people who would onboard an AI would basically train on their profile to learn how to write like them. And then if they wanted to promote, if they wanted to sort of get paid, they could choose a cast to promote. The AI would write the quote cast for them, making sure it sounded nice but was still in their voice. The user would then approve or reject what the AI has written, or give it sort of cues to update what is written. It would post it and you would get paid. And Hype Man had a decent amount of success. I think at the time, I think there was a few more users on Farcast, but there was like 10,000 or 12,000 users on Hype Man. And then there was this craze of, I don't know, if you spent time on Farcast, you've probably seen it, but the donut ecosystem blew up. It's kind of like this meta like capital mining game. And I built a mining pool for that game. So essentially, you'd pay a bit of ETH and you would have rights to the emissions of the donut protocol. And at first it was cheap. It was like 0.1 ETH or like 0.2 ETH. But it was picking up steam quickly. And I was like, if this ever hits like 1 ETH to be King Laser, which is the guy who gets the emissions, I would be priced out. I think a lot of people would be priced out. So I made a custom contract to basically have people be able to pool their ETH together and collectively buy King Laser, and then all the emissions will be split based on the percentage ownership that you have of the pool. And while Donut was running, the mini app I made was called People's Donuts, like for the people, play on words, whatever. Donut ran, People's ran. I think the pool at one point had like 120K, and it was crazy. And then I built a game called Among Traders, which is like Mafia. I don't know if you've ever played Mafia or like Secret Hitler or something, like a social game. But instead of people playing, it was agents playing. So everybody who created an account had an agent that represented them. They would create like a little persona based on their social profile. Everyone's agents would be thrown into a room. One of them would be the killer, and all of the other agents had to deliberate and try to figure out who the killer was before everyone died. And that also got like a good amount of reception. It's a fun game. It was super fun, and fit Farcaster really well, just because it's a very tight-knit community and sort of people like spending time together there. So that was fun. And then about at Laser up until about a month and a half ago, I was approached by Igor, who Igor and I have had a really, really close relationship probably for the last like year and a half, 2 years. Igor and I met on Farcaster, and we're kind of like-minded builders. Who were kind of like he would build something, send it to me, be like, yo, check this out. What do you think? Anything I should improve? Then I would build something, send it to him, and be like, yo, check this out. Try my thing out. What do you think? Would love some feedback. And then we started working on mini apps together. We worked on like a UFC fantasy sports type of mini app, which like you would set your lineup on the upcoming card. You would set your lineup, and then you would have these modifiers, which would be like, oh, I think this guy's going to win by knockout, or this guy's going to have so many significant strikes, and you would have.
Quick question on that particular thing, and I do want to get back into the whole story, because you've laid so many nuggets, that are like so many interesting parts to take this conversation. But just talk about the UFC and yesterday's return of Conor McGregor. Did you have any cards or bets that Conor would injure himself in the first?
I didn't think he would injure himself, but I definitely had Matt Holloway winning, just because the last time Holloway fought was last year. The last time McGregor fought was like 5 years ago. Yeah. So that in and of itself, like it's definitely real. And like for reference, I don't know if you could see the singlet back there. I'm a college wrestler, so I know a little bit about the fight game. I'm not a fighter, but I'm a pretty big fan of the UFC. So time off the mat or time out of the octagon definitely does play a role. So I had my bets on Holloway last weekend. I didn't think Conor would blow up his knee like he did, but but yeah. And then another big pick, Gable Stevenson is going to be champ. Put your money on it. Yeah,
I've heard a lot about him, and like I think DC's really backing him, and he started to like fight in some other divisions, and he's just mauling people, just ragdolling everyone.
Yeah, I mean the guy's an Olympic champ. He's not. He's going to be a tough opponent no matter who's standing in front of him.
And how old is he?
25.
So he's still young. Yeah,
he's young guy. But yeah, dude, crazy card last weekend. But yeah, no, Igor and I kind of both big combat sports UFC fans. We wanted to sort of see if we could build this fantasy UFC game as a mini app on Forecaster. And yeah, it was cool experience. But then he and I met at base camp and kind of like really just hit it off at base camp. And we're like, oh, dude, we gotta at some point in the future, in some capacity, we gotta work together because we just had such good chemistry and blended so well together, and it was like had a creepy amount of like similarities between us. Like both of our wives' names start with the same. Like both of our wives have very similar names. Both of our daughters have very similar names. Our daughters were born like within like a couple of months of each other, so we were very much like in the same stage of life, I guess. Yeah. And then the opportunity kind of came about where he needed help on the banker front, and I had, I'm at the time I was like this is 2 months ago, active builder in the base ecosystem, active builder in the crypto ecosystem, fairly technical guy, which is kind of like what they needed on the DevRel side, and it's kind of a no-brainer for me. I was like, yeah, dude, like let's do this, So, and then from there, it's kind of just been a whirlwind of one, getting up to speed with everything on the banker front, which at this point I think I got a pretty good handle on, but and then also sort of still tinkering with sort of with different side projects. The main one being Harness, which I think we're going to talk about a little later today.
Absolutely, but I want to say like what an exciting journey. Like it's like like it's never a straight path, but once you find your passion. I mean, I think many people find like once you get into crypto, it's like the 9 to 5, the finance world. It's like there's a lot to learn from there, but you see like how it can be improved, and it's like to be part of the solution, to be part of the next wave of innovation. It's just like, do I want to be on the cutting edge of something, or do I want to be in the middle of a system that needs reform? I think
for sure, especially coming from Goldman, dude. Like, I'd be on a project that would take months, right? And if I think about how to do the same thing on Web3, it would take like an hour, maybe, like not even an hour, like a couple of minutes. You know what I mean? So especially
now with like the advancements in AI, like it's never been easier to build, and like like we see the rise of the solopreneurs, and it's so empowering. But also the other side of that, it's never been easier to build, but it's never been harder to get distribution, because everyone's building cool stuff, and that's really where I'm sort of like placing my bets and my placing my hat, because like, look, if I can help people that are really like building cool stuff get any sort of extra distribution, fantastic. People that are willing to talk about it, brilliant. Okay, so there's a few interesting avenues. Igor deserves his flowers. I also met him at base camp. I think I played paddle against him and M. Lee Jr.
Yes, yeah.
They beat us.
They were champs, weren't they? They took the cake.
No. The Spanish had something to say about that.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, hey, if they told you different, like, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. Like,
Oh man,
but
yeah, I don't know. Maybe that might be me. I might have gotten messed up because I did want to play in the pickleball tournament, but I think I was fixing something with the on-chain stuff.
fixing the matches to let them win.
Yeah. Hey.
No, but yeah, flowers to him. I think honestly, he has been a really strong addition to the banker team. Obviously, banker like deployer is known to be just a relentless shipper and just constant builder. And honestly, deployer deserves his flowers as well, because I think in the beginning of this year, where after the Zora fallout, base was a little bit rudderless, a little bit like, okay, that was the horse we were backing. That's where all of our messaging, our product messaging has been towards. Where are we going to put that attention? And really, the AI movement really was the thing to fill the void. And Banker was instrumental in that to give runners such as Maltbook and just this whole OpenClaw,
GitLab,
all that stuff.
Surplus, dude. So many quality builders and projects that have kind of seen the value of Banker, not just from a distribution standpoint for sure, but also from like a bootstrapping standpoint. Like GitLab was able to earn somewhere in the neighborhood of I think at the height of all the prices, I think it was like 3.2 million in fees, which is huge, right? Like,
incredible.
So
I mean, as well, like it is technically a bear market, so to be able to make such a significant runway like that, it's just it's an absolute game changer for developers, for builders, and it really did position Base as a chain where AI thrives, and it was really on the shoulders of Banker. So shout out to Deployer, and then Igor. He's just been very connected, very in tune with the trenches, very in tune with builders and supporting those. And the fact that he's brought you on as well, another accomplished developer who is in the space of supporting others and helping others. Really, I mean, the DevRel position is perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you guys have got your hires right, and I guess on the banker point of view, what is how has it been since joining the team?
Hectic, but great. So hectic in the sense that I mean, I'm sure. I mean, you had Igor on the show, and he can attest to this. My DMs were absolutely cooked after the announcement. Telegram has been going crazy, but it's good in that you get such a wide view of everything that's being built on Base right now. And there are some really, really, really impressive teams that have some very, very novel ideas, not only in AI, but in the intersection of AI and crypto. And I think just having exposure to those teams and being able to sort of contribute to the success of those teams is something that I'm one, very grateful for, but two, I think I can, I'm someone who can sort of provide a good North Star or good direction as far as how to build in the space and things to focus on, like what works and what doesn't. So yeah, one, very grateful to be in the position of being able to help out these incredible builders. But I think more broadly, just being able to see all of the incredible stuff that people are working on, it's awesome.
Now, Banker launched on Base, but it is not exclusive to Base. It's branched out into an omni-chain launch pad, and just recently Robinhood,
Yes.
like, all the headlines right now. All eyes are on Robinhood because of
Oh yeah.
whether it's rose tinted glasses or whether it's like the next big thing. Time will tell. But one thing is for certain, that the DJ attention is
Oh yeah.
definitely volume on there.
The
It's all
attention and
on.
volume. Yep.
Yeah, like there's no two ways to cut that. Like it's incredible, and I DJ a little bit over there as well. Like fantastic. Like
For
it's it's
sure.
it's fun, especially in these times where it's everything's slow, liquidity's thin. To get a couple of X's, it's like it's fun again. It
Yeah,
makes
it's all gravy, and I think that's again, you kind of alluded to like the relentless shipping cadence of Deployer and the rest of the Banker team, and like to be able to spin up a Robinhood integration within hours of the chain going live is just a testament to that. And yeah, I think Banker is uniquely positioned as far as Robinhood goes, because historically Bankers had like the deepest liquidity as far as LP goes on base, and the same thing is kind of developing to be true on Robinhood as well. If you look at like the tokens on Robinhood right now that have been launched by Banker, they have some of the deepest liquidity. I think Hoodie, which was launched by Jake, another Farcaster OG, I think he is number 2 in liquidity as far as like liquidity to market cap ratio on Robinhood right now. And that's just sort of people focus a lot on market cap figures and how high a particular runner goes, but don't really focus on like the liquidity aspect of it and like how easy is it for people to enter and exit positions. And I think as time goes on, that's going to be really important. And sort of Banker is supremely well positioned to come out on top there, just because liquidity is something that or deep liquidity rather, is something that has been focused on super hard from the jump.
Yeah, I think that's one of the red herrings with the whole Ansem token.
Exactly. Perfect example.
Yeah, they run into 400 mil, and then I remember when it was at 100 mil, there was only like 1 million in liquidity.
Yeah, and then it goes to like 200 mil, and there's like 2 million. Like it went up by like there's not that much more for as much money that was in chain.
Exactly, and like at the same time, flexing the wallet, or people saying, "Oh my goodness," like because it went up to like 400 mil, and it's like, "Oh my goodness, he has $250 million worth of tokens," and it's like just try and sell those, or like the comments like, "Yeah, I've given $20 million away." It's like, have you?
Did you? Yeah, did you really?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But talk to us a little bit about Robinhood, because Robinhood is the talk of the town. Bank is known for the agents, like really like the launchpad for agents.
Yeah.
But so far it seems that Robinhood's mainly memes. What's like how do you see Banker gaining mindshare over on Robinhood as like a one of like the top tier launchpads?
So yeah, I mean, I think the focus on memes right now is very much just a symptom of like new chain symptom. I think every new chain goes through that initial period of a month to 2 months to 6 months or whatever of like the most capable, or not capable, the most popular things being memes. And that's great. That's why you can launch a meme on Banker. You can, I think. The Vlad, the CEO of Robinhood, was kind of made that cryptic tweet about, "Oh, we love memes too." But I think that sort of like where like we're already seeing this sort of internally. Like there's a lot of teams who are very interested in launching on Robinhood because it fits sort of what they're building towards, and like having access to RWAs directly on chain that are supported natively. Having access to like the omni-chain capability stuff, having access to a bunch of these new primitives that are being introduced from Robinhood chain is something that's really attractive to sort of this new cohort of builders that we've been talking to over the past couple of weeks to a month. And so I think like it's still kind of a little bit too early to definitively say like what where is the meta gonna go? But people who are building and targeting Robinhood Chain for their launch are very much doing so because of these new the new primitives that are available on Robinhood Chain. So I think as things develop, as the Robinhood ecosystem matures, we're going to see a lot of cool things come out of it.
I see OX ETH BTC5 says competition can only help, especially base at this point.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
I 100% agree.
Absolutely true.
My question about the RWAs, because yes, Robinhood said our focus is on RWAs. It's a good place to trade memes too. So that second part was enough to ignite the meme trenches, but they have indicated that the primary focus or their more public focus is on RWAs. But then also at a similar time within the last week, Base launched the B20 protocol, which also benefits RWAs.
For sure.
How do you see this like the battle of the Titans on that regard?
Yeah, I mean, I think time will tell. Yeah, I think broadly time will tell. And at the end of the day, it comes down to what LXBTC ETH was saying, is that competition breeds the need
Innovation.
for the need for the collaboration or just to make your product better. I think even on Robinhood, like they have, you can buy any one of the blue chip stocks that they have listed. They have like official contracts for all of them, but the product landscape is still kind of sparse. So I think time will really tell as far as like, how things develop with RWAs on Robinhood and RWAs on Base through B20.
Yeah, I agree. Time will tell. It's going to be interesting. I think the B20 was a positive step for on-chain adoption for institutions and RWAs. I don't really think it has much bearing on like meme coins, but it seems like that is the direction that Base is focused on and Robinhood's focused on. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
For sure.
And time will tell, as you said.
For sure.
Now, okay, so Robinhood, exciting times, Base, new protocols, banker, the place to be.
Yeah.
Let's talk a bit more about your personal project.
Yeah.
Try Harness.
Yes. So Harness. Okay. So I
also, if you have anything that you want to share, screen.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I can share my screen. Okay. Let's see.
That's one of the beauties of live streams.
Okay, so I guess I will give a bit of Harness. I've been working on sort of the idea for Harness for maybe the past like 6 to 8 months. But very recently, sort of the model landscape has improved such that it actually can be a reality. More specifically, the local model landscape has really improved. And so the whole idea of Harness is a better browser-based AI experience. So I'm sure you have used ChatGPT or Claude like in your browser, and like if you're doing heavy workflows with either one of those tools, it can get kind of cumbersome. Like you have 15 chats open, or you have however many number of chats open, along with whatever you're actually working on, all kind of jumbled up in whatever your particular workflow is. And for me, that introduced a lot of like context switching fatigue. Like on this chat talking about this one thing, leave that window, go to something else. Like, oh damn, I just forgot which exact chat I was on, and then like I'm waiting for the LLM to actually spit out a result, so I go do something else, and I come back completely forgotten what I originally said. And so the very first thing I wanted to solve for was like I want a browser-based experience where the chat window is always up and always available. So let me actually share my screen real quick. Here we go. So actually, I think I need to share. I'm sorry. Let me share my entire screen. This one, share. Okay. So the very first thing I wanted to solve for was having the chat up in a floating window, kind of like this. So it's always available. It's always there. Anytime I think that I need to ask an AI something, instead of searching through the endless number of tabs I might have open, it's just right here. I can collapse it. I can move it off to the side. I can have it run in the background, do my other things, and then come back to it when I need to ask a question. The second thing that I wanted to solve for is context. A lot of the models that people talk to nowadays are multimodal. They can accept not just text, but an array of different input parameters. And the better context that you have, the more grounded the model is in reality. And it does a way better job of actually answering what you're asking, especially when you're using less powerful models. So along with the AI, along with the window being always available, it can actually see your screen. So right now I'm sharing my Twitter page. I can just ask, what am I looking at? Oh, and I spelled wrong, wrong, but it should be able to. It should be able to pick it up anyway. So it can see.
Yeah, this question here, what am I looking at? Because right now on the shared screen, we see like the spiral of like cameras on the StreamYard page. Like I see our cameras smaller. What am I looking at? Is that what you was looking at on your screen as well?
No, I'm looking at. I shared my Twitter.
Okay.
Page. So you can see the post that you made that we are doing this show right now at the moment, and it said, "Look at you getting all famous on your X notifications or whatever." Some dude named Mike the Bass Junkie tagged you in the Fireside chat. Live stream, sweet. So it can see my screen. It can see what I'm doing. But not only that, it can reason over time. So one of the things that I spent a lot of time building into this platform is a local model pipeline. A few months ago, I got local model pilled. I'm sure that you kind of seen across the timeline of people being like, "Oh, we're going to replace frontier models with local models that can run on your own PC." And right now, that, in my opinion, is kind of a pipe dream. If you want to run any of like the most powerful, unquantized, local, open source models that exist, you need like a data center in your house, and you need like more electricity than is legally allowed to go to your place to like actually really run them.
So question on that, like the whole buy a MacBook Mini. So yeah, a Mac Mini, is that just
I mean, if you're talking about running like GLM 5.2 at full weights, like yeah, it's not gonna happen. But like if you're talking about running like Quen 30 billion parameters, at like 25 tokens per second, that's great. But that size of a model isn't going to be able to do anything close to like what even like Sonnet or Gemini or like any bigger model can do. So like it can do specialized tasks that are kind of built for what that model is good for, but it can't like replace your whole agentic workflow. But that was kind of my thesis here, where like there's a plethora of small open source models that are built to do one thing very, very well, and can be used to kind of as this layer before it hits the frontier model to gather as much useful context as possible, so that the frontier model that actually processes your request is completely grounded in like the best context that it has available. And if you think about how people like normally use these models, like you're just asking a question in text, and then if you have to give it any additional context, maybe you're copying and pasting documentation. Potentially that documentation has information that you don't care about, but the model is indexing on anyway. Or maybe you have to re-explain the context in your own words, and like that takes effort and time and energy, and that might, you might not get it perfect, and you might have to spend a few turns making sure the model really understands what you're trying to get across. Or you can show it a picture, not just a picture over time, based on what you're doing, and the model immediately understands like what you're trying to accomplish. And so just to get back to the local pipeline stuff, I spent a lot of time not only researching but figuring out how can I what models what small models work best in the environment that I'm constraining it to. So it has to be able to run in the browser. So using Transformers.js that talks to your hardware over web GPU, and picking models that do very specific things to get the best amount of context possible. So a small embedding model, image embedding model that takes what's currently on your screen, embeds it, and then does some cosine similarity math to check if your screen has meaningfully changed. And if it has, then it records the next keyframe. And so like when you're scrolling over time, your screen is obviously changing, it captures you scrolling. Or if you're watching a video, obviously the frames are changing as the video is playing. So every frame of the video is getting captured. And this is all happening locally with your own hardware. So now, and then, so that's an image embedding. There's a small OCR model, which can take the actual information on your screen, pull out the text, and save it as an annotation. And then a small text embedding model that takes the annotated text and embeds it. And then a re-ranking model that re-ranks all of the information that is queried. So what you end up with in the coalescence of all of those models is this, I call it a keyframe buffer, but it's basically a linked list of everything that Harness has seen over time that lives on your browser, lives in IndexedDP, in your browser's cache. And there is an API that's wrapped around it. So, and then the orchestrator model that lives on the server can query information from that keyframe buffer via a WebSocket connection. And so the information is temporally arranged. So it's like a timeline of events. And then because everything's embedded, it's semantically searchable. So like if I was on Twitter, and then I was on Reddit, and then I was on DexScreener, and then I was on Hyperliquid, and then I was on whatever else, and then I asked Harness, hey, like if I ask let's see, what was I looking at yesterday? So it has tools to be able to call down to my local machine via WebSockets, look in like that timeline of events, pull all the frames from yesterday, and it's able to pull up exactly what I was looking at. Same thing where if I asked it like, hey, I was on Reddit like 3 days ago, and like I saw a post about local models, and like I can't exactly remember like who posted, but I wanted to go back to it, but I can't exactly remember what it was. It can make that WebSocket call locally into like that local store. It can pull up the time horizon that I'm searching for, and then do a semantic search for Reddit and only pull the Reddit frames. And then if I give it more information, it can semantically search like Reddit plus local LLMs, and then pull every frame that had like Reddit and local stuff, like, and then pull it up and show me, and then give me an analysis on what I was staring at. Right now, this is kind of terse. It's not a lot of information because in my profile settings, I have it set to talk like Eric Cartman from South Park. But that's besides the point. But so cool things end up being able to be enabled when you have like an intelligence layer that lives locally that your server side model can talk to. Other cool things that
So before we get into the other cool things, I think that right there, like the fact that it's kind of like the best memory you can have, where you can just say, just like it solves a real problem, because the amount of times that people think, oh man, what was it? It's on the tip of my tongue. I remember it was so life-changing, it was so interesting. I can't, and then like searching through the history, like it's just like it's so tedious, and often it's like a needle in a haystack. But
especially if like it's work that you were doing and like you were actually talking to them, like let's say you tried to do the same thing with ChatGPT, right? You're like, we were talking about something yesterday about X, Y, and Z. It can pull up your conversation, but it can't pull up any of the unless you explicitly gave it those sources, it can't pull up any of that information. And even then, like it might not be as accurate as the literal thing that you were looking at.
So the question on the LLM side,
Yeah.
because obviously you're mentioning like a benefit over with this over ChatGPT. What LLM are you using? And for others that want to use TryHarness, are there options for LLMs, or what's the
So Harness routes all inference through another Banker project, Surplus Intelligence. I'm sure you're familiar. And any model that is available on Surplus is also available here. So you can put any frontier model that you can kind of think of that has vision capabilities, that has multimodal capabilities. You can use it as your frontier model. They're routed through Surplus and choose Venice as the provider. So the idea is to keep all of your screen information as private as possible. So if you use closed weight models through Venice, your data is anonymized. And if you use open weight models through Venice, it runs in the private infrastructure. And then obviously all of the screen information that allows it to do stuff like this is living on your browser. So like the history of all the keyframes that it's ever seen, that doesn't leave your machine. That stays in your browser. Same thing with like your chat history and your like everything that the models, as far as knowledge, build up about you. That stuff lives in your browser, right? It's not in, Sam Altman servers or whatever. Like every embarrassing thing that you've ever said to ChatGPT is not like in somebody's servers. It lives on your machine. But the one other cool thing I wanted to touch on, which kind of leads into the big push that I'm trying to get out this week for Harness, is it can help you over time. So one thing that I was using it for is I was trying to craft like Reddit posts about Harness and just doing some research about what does well on Reddit. Typically I'd have to go to a bunch of different subreddits and copy and paste stuff and like put it all into like this one big document and then maybe feed that to an LLM to do analysis. And like, maybe I would have missed something. I can ask Harness, watch me scroll for the next minute and pick out any account that says the word base. And it has a skill. Once the model starts up and is thinking about it, it has a skill that allows me that basically watches my screen and then just follows along with me as I scroll through Twitter. And this is kind of like a very easy, very simple example of like this capability. But what I was using it for is, hey, I'm on Reddit right now and I'm trying to figure out like how to write this post in these different subreddits. And I want to know like what does well in these different subreddits. So follow me along as I browse Reddit and kind of just pick out some things that you notice that of formats that do well in these subreddits that I am trying to target for these posts. And that worked incredibly well. I was just bouncing around, scrolling as normal. And at the end of the time period, it generated this big report for me that was like, oh, I noticed this does well here. This format does well here. If you're targeting this subreddit, make sure you include a video. If you're targeting that subreddit, make sure make sure that you have a compelling story around it. Different things like that. And it kind of extends to like stuff like lead generation or recruiting, let's say. If you can just browse LinkedIn, and if you are like, oh, I only care about people who have 8 or more years of experience, you can just browse and have this up in the corner. You can minimize it. It's still running. It's still watching. It's still doing work for you. But you can kind of continue your research as normal. And that's kind of what I like in an AI tool. Like these tools that kind of take over your whole computer and like do a bunch of things for you at the cadence of the AI. I'm not really a fan of. I mean, maybe it's because like I'm a more technical guy, and like even I was kind of slow to adopt all of these AI coding tools as it is, just because I wanted full control. But this is really more so like a real assistant that like is on in the background and can like watch me and pick up things that I've missed or help me sort of as like a supercharged research assistant at the moment. Now, the big thing that I'm pushing towards now is
just before we get into the big thing, because I want to give you time for the big thing, but I do have some comments there. Like, I think this is a great way for people to keep track of their thoughts and just really just keep all their ideas in one place, and then also the lead generation side of things. And it makes me wonder, like, is this like who's the target market for this? Like, is it are you focusing more on entrepreneurs, builders who suffer the same problems that you face, or are you looking more towards targeting like marketing companies or
that's a great question. Yeah. That's a great question, and still trying to figure it out. So like I think the natural thing is just like people who have the same issues, who have the same sort of problems, or the same, I wouldn't even say issues, but who run into the same sort of like challenges as me. That's the easiest thing to do, or that's the easiest cohort to market to. But this is also a product that like I showed to my mom, and she like got it. And my mom is a medical writer, and like her thing is she works with a bunch of information that might be classified, and works with a bunch of data that might be like, something that she can't like just straight copy and paste into ChatGPT. But because the frontier inference is through Venice, so she uses open weight models, it's private. And because everything that is seen on her screen remains local, she can use something like this. And so she was maybe showing it to some of her medical writing friends. And then my sister is in medical school right now, and she was using it as like a study assistant. So there's a bunch of use cases, that some of which I haven't even thought about, just because I'm very much focused in like the lane that I'm in. So at the moment, like it's very much solving the problems that are unique to me. Mm-hmm. But I think, as hopefully more people try out Harness, and like I think even just having this floating pip window here where your AI is always available is enough of like a productivity boost for a lot of people. But then you add in the screen awareness layer, and then a lot of other people will come up with a lot of use cases. A few of the like early users who have been on Harness right now, a good amount of them use them for strategy games. So some people use them to help them with chess. There's a guy who uses it to help him with poker. There's a guy who plays Civilization 5 and uses it to help him like strategize in Civilization. So broad way to answer your question, but at the moment just focusing on like people who would use it like me. But it can do a lot. It can do a whole ton of stuff. So I think like different verticals of OneMojo as hopefully more people use it.
And if it's not stepping on the toes of your big release, how can people get involved, and like what sort of costings are we looking at for like users?
So just go to tryharness.ai. Again, the local models are just beholden by can your computer run it or not. Actually all modern hardware can use it. And if you don't have modern hardware, the local LLMs fall back to running on your CPU. Again, it's a little bit slower, so modern hardware is good. And then as far as cost goes, it's a credit system. So you just buy credits, which translate directly to dollars, and those credits get routed through Surplus. So you get like whatever the Surplus for 30 to 60% off on whatever model that you're using. I do give you $5 for free to try it out, so which does get you pretty far. I think when I was first testing it, those $5 lasted me for like 2 weeks. So you can get pretty far with the initial that's given to you, and then from there, it's just topping up credits and using it as your leisure. So there's no lock-in as far as that goes. There is a resident tier, which gives you a bit more capabilities. Like you can generate images, you can do stuff that you can do, like you can spin up like sub agents and do stuff like that to help you do more deep research stuff. But as far as like just using the product, just buy like $5 in credits and you can go ham for a couple weeks.
Perfect. But yes, please do let us know about this big update as we sort of like on like the tail end of the
the bigger update, which I kind of teased in a tweet from the Try Harness account last Friday. What if BankerBot had eyes? So I am pushing towards a complete banker integration into Harness. So you can basically have a banker agent within your Harness, harness. So accompanying with a skill that lets you manage that provisioned wallet from your banker terminal. And so the idea here is like you can have Harness help you form a thesis through just what it sees on your screen and execute trades right away. So like same sort of idea where I was like, hey, watch my screen for the next minute and pick out all the accounts that choose base. I can give it something more sophisticated, like, hey, I'm going to be bouncing around all these different platforms that have to do with a particular idea that I have. Watch me go for the next 10 minutes, pick out what you think is important, and create a proposal to sort of buy the things that I care about, whether it's tokens on base, tokens on Robinhood, stocks on Robinhood, anything that is available through the banker bot. It can form a thesis and then actually open those positions using the banker agent that's embedded into Harness. So, I could be like, Robinhood meme season is picking up. I'm going to scroll Twitter and like anything that looks hot on Robinhood, cross-reference it with another banker skill that exists, find some kind of asymmetry and open that position. And as long as my provisioned wallet is funded, it'll just buy it for me. Same thing. Another good example is I can, open up Polymarket, show it the Polymarket homepage and be like, do some deep research into the markets that you see on screen, find any mispriced markets and support them with research, and then buy those positions on Polymarket through banker. And it can just execute those trades. So that's the big thing that I'm pushing towards right now, along with improving some of the like the real-time capabilities of like it actually catching everything. It's pretty good right now. It does catch most things, but I want it to be perfect, especially when you're dealing with forming a thesis around information. Having it being able to like get exactly what you want is of the utmost importance. So that
on that.
Yeah.
So, for example, the poly market, look for mispriced markets and give and write like and support it with a thesis why it's mispriced and where the opportunity is. Like how deep does the research go?
Pretty deep. So that would be classified as a deep research task, and what it does under the hood when any deep research task is spun up is it does a similar thing like Claude Code or Open Code or any of these agentic harnesses. It does a similar thing as that, where it'll formulate a base plan, and then it will spin up a bunch of subagents to then go out and do research based on what the plan says. And then it will come back and update the plan and then do more research if it needs to. So it's like this idea of like you have an orchestrator that's creating a plan, and then you have subagents that go out and fan out and do all of this distributed research for you, come back and update the plan. If there's any missing pieces, it'll go out and fan out a bunch of subagents and do some more research for you, come back with the completely consolidated plan, and then deliver you the answer. And so the idea, a deep research turn might take 5, 6, 7 minutes, but you have a really distilled, you have a really distilled, thesis based on like what you're asking it to do. And then the next step of that is actually acting on that thesis, which is what the banker integration is gonna do.
Cool. Exciting times.
Yes.
And all this stuff, is this out yet? Like, is this out for the public, or what's the launch schedule?
Yeah, so everything I just showed you in that quick demo there, that is all out. The banker integration, as far as the banker integration piece, as far as being able to execute trades based on what is gathered from your harness agents, that is coming this week. I was hoping for today, but they kind of got away from me. It's a little bit busy, but this week it'll be out, and then from there, I'm just gonna keep shipping. So being being around, Deployer and Igor and the rest of the banker team, like I thought I was good at shipping before, but these guys are absolute pros. It just galvanizes me to sort of kick up the heat, kick up the volume. So going to be shipping that within the next couple of days, and then getting as much feedback as I can from the community and continuing to iterate the product. But from my perspective is, I'm DevRel at Banker, and I feel like to be good at my job as DevRel, I should know what it's like to be building in the Banker ecosystem and to take a project in the Banker ecosystem as far as I possibly can. And I feel like, already being able to give developers in the Banker ecosystem sort of anecdotal advice based on of what I've noticed works and what I've noticed doesn't work, both from other teams in the ecosystem, but myself as well. And Harness, the token prices and all isn't crazy. But before I had even launched, there was like 3K in fees ready for me to claim. You know what I mean? And like that's a super powerful thing for a solo dev or for a small builder to be able to like have not only that, but a community that's formed around what you're building that is ready and willing to try out whatever you put out, and ready and willing to give you good actionable feedback to actually make your product better. And so that's kind of the North Star that I'm keeping in my head as I talk to some of these teams. Do you work with Banker? Do you work on Harness? Is like it's all connected. It's all one big thing. And sort of the more that I can do to build out this product in earnest, is the more useful learnings that I can then pass on to other people who are trying to be successful in the not only the banker ecosystem, but I think more broadly like the crypto, AI, Web3 ecosystem.
I really dig with that. The fact that you are walking the walk, not just talking the talk. You're in it with the other builders, testing it from both sides, supporting it from the banker side, but then also, what is the experience for developers, builders, and that, I mean, it gives you a wider purview how to support those within the ecosystem, and I think necessity is the mother of innovation. And the fact that you diagnose an issue in your personal life and it's been able to help those around you keep on track, like keep on top of some of their tabs. I mean, right now I'm looking at the top of my screen almost in horror, the amount of tabs that are open.
Yeah.
It just happens. They just rack up.
I don't know how all these tabs got here. Like I was just working. So yeah, I think I mean, I've been obviously daily driving Harness for a while now, in building it obviously, but very much like has personally helped, because my workflow before, like, I don't know, I start with the desktop version to do research, to like validate an idea that I might have, or to like get more information around an idea I might have. And then I take that and I like ask it to summarize, and then I'll go to Claude Code to start like building out the code base pretty much. And like there's a ton of issues with that, I think. The next bigger thing that I want to try to do is create an MCP between Harness and Claude Code, so that context is one and the same between the two. Everything that I've done on Harness, I can then go to Claude Code and it knows everything that I've seen, it knows everything that I've done, it knows everything that I've been working towards, and I don't have to do this messy summarize everything that I've done over here. Let me copy and paste it over there. That summarization might be good, probably isn't. It might miss some stuff. It might include stuff that I've been like, I actually don't care about that. And then you kind of have to go through this process of like almost cleaning the summary before it's even useful in Claude Code, or Open Code, or whatever agentic harness that you're using. So that's past the banker stuff. That's one thing that I think, at least personally, that I want to exist. So I'm going to build it. But yeah, I think just more broadly, there's so much cool shit that you can build, and there's so many cool technologies coming out. And there's so much that can be utilized with like not only like local models and models that do one specific thing very well, but even like the new browser primitives that have been coming out, like the pip window. I'm going to stop sharing, but the pip window that you had seen, that's again no installs, no downloads. It's not an extension. It's the same Chrome browser primitive that is used in like Google Chats when you go to a different screen and your face pops up in like a small pip window. It's the same thing, but you know it's being underutilized. I feel like in like the broad scope of things. So kind of just trying to push the boundary as far as like what's possible and what's there, and build like real useful products using that.
Well, that's what it's all about: pushing boundaries, kicking ass, and taking names. Now, as we wrap this up, what would your call to action be for the people tuning in today?
Call to action, I guess. Follow me on Twitter, Saltorius1. Follow the Try Harness account on Twitter at Try Harness. Look out for updates dropping there. There's a Discord too if you want to hop in there. It's linked in the Try Harness bio. Give it a shot. Use it for a couple days. See if it works for you or if it doesn't. And if it doesn't, I would love to hear about why and how I can improve it. And then more broadly, if you are building anything, if you're building anything on chain, hit me up. Hit up Igor. Hit up Igor. I combined his first and last name. Hit up me. Hit up Igor. Hit up Danny. Hit up Frenchie. Hit up Deployer. We would love to support whatever you're building on Banker. We have a great network. We have a great team in house that kind of has the domain level expertise to help you go from 0 to 1. So hit us up. We can definitely help.
Boom. There you have it. Well, brilliant call to action, and really a very interesting product that can help people get more efficient with their time and just maximize people's output. And then, of course, that's what Banker is about as well. So I think the fact that your personal project marries so well with your position in Banker and their ethos, your ethos, match made in heaven. Looking forward to seeing more of the rollouts with Harness. I'm looking forward to like testing it out myself. Yeah, so when I do, I will give you some feedback. And then also this Friday we do an end of the week roundup on Space.
Oh yes, dude, I was in the one, maybe not last week, but maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I love what you're doing over there. I think Farcaster Space is great. I'll be sure to hop in the one on Friday. Dude, love it. Absolutely love it.
Okay, bro. Well, look, it's at the same time. So this Friday, be there, and we'll chop it up with some of the other founders of the week. It should be a blast.
Awesome.
All right.
It's good, man.
And yes, thank you for your time, Sartorius. Thank you for sharing about Harness, your experience so far, growing in the base eco and Banker. And I want to say a big shout out to everybody who tuned in today. We'll see you tomorrow for another episode of Fireside Media, and then we'll see you on Friday over on Farcaster for the end of the week roundup. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, but most importantly, stay based.
Take it easy.
Peace out.
I'm a baseline junkie. I'm a baseline junkie. Tell him again. I'm a baseline junkie. Tell him again. And I